the episode where my sinuses decided to hate me.
Yay!
Ugh.
And I'm very tired. Watch Black Panther. Go see it. It's good.
I'd like to see
Actually,
it. I'm gonna
It'll
probably see
probably
it Friday.
be very out of theaters by the time this episode gets
Oh yeah,
posted.
it'll probably be on DVD by the time people hear this.
Yep.
But hey,
Oh my god, I scored. Oh,
actually,
you son of a
DVD is
bitch,
out
I
of
thought I
date anymore.
scored.
It's Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, it's kind of
Blu-ray,
funny.
DVD,
We've lived
digital
through.
copy, 4K.
As I say, we've lived through like. I remember what it was like coming to a theater near you and VHS like soon after or whatever, like.
oh right.
And then it was DVD, and then like. Now it's just Blu-ray like all over. Like DVD is still there, but like Blu-ray is definitely taking
Yeah.
over. It's just funny to see just see the growth of it.
Well, speaking of living through things and the growth of things, today's topic is Cartoon Network, which has been like exclusively. Oh shit, they scored. Which is like exclusively our lifetimes.
Yeah, no, I mean like it
It's-
started and started growing like around the year I was born, and
92 is when it was founded. I was
Yeah,
doing
so,
some
like-
research on it today.
so yeah, and then it just really started to like hit its mark like late '90s. So I mean like that's just kind of that's that's the epitome of our childhood.
Yeah.
Um,
So I think it's gonna be kind of falling into I'm going to be approaching it from a pro Cartoon Network all around
yeah,
type of view. Not not their live action stuff. That's not good.
I
But,
don't
like,
think there's enough of it to really focus on because it was such
No,
a
I
short
mean, that
lived
was
thing. It was
definitely
like a 3-year thing.
Ooh shit. Yeah, no, and that was definitely a part of it. But I think
Yeah.
I'll,
I think
I'll-
it's accepted as like it was not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah. And I know that you definitely enjoy the first phase
You know,
Of-
it's
Cartoon Network the most. Cartoon
right.
Cartoon.
I mean, yeah, because cartoon was like what I remember being like the best of the best, and like
Yeah.
because what? All right, so this is how it went down. Was like, all right, we primarily watched TV during that time, and then like
Yeah.
there's that middle phase where it started to get a little like, all right, it's a little different. Some of the by like the late, like I think it was like, yeah, it was around when the live action stuff started hitting was like 2007, and so like
Yep.
once the 2007 like hit, like we didn't have cable anymore. Like we just I think that was when Netflix started like popping up a little bit.
Probably
and so,
around
like,
there, yeah.
And that was just the DVD Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
and so like we didn't have cable all through
When I went off to
until
school,
right, exactly.
I went off to college in 2009, so I didn't.
Yeah,
like,
so it was-
I really didn't have anything.
And so I wasn't exposed to a lot of it like probably post 2007 up through, even into 2013, 2014, I still was not connected to it. So like
Yeah.
I think the main reasons why I've mentioned in the past why like the cartoon era is my favorite is just maybe because I was a part of it more. Like
Yeah, probably.
cartoon Fridays and like the movies they would have on Saturdays. I remember they always would show Scooby-Doo Zombie Island like every
right.
freaking time. And but then like yeah, I think about it like middle school for me, middle school to high school, I didn't really have TV. So like the cartoons that were out there that like I mean a lot of people didn't like that middle era and then it came back kind of like 2010, 11, 12 like era started really bringing it back and I really wasn't a part of it. So that might be why I don't resonate with it as much.
That's fair.
And I was just kind of putting that together.
Yeah. Well, I think something that I've been thinking about lately. Oh, my controller's dying. Neat.
That's right. I was
something
going to totally
was-
switch my controller because mine's dying too.
Yeah, nice. I should probably find the cord for that at some point. I think
Yeah. Might help.
I think part of it is the fact that like first off is getting nostalgia out of the way. Like
That's a big thing, I think.
I don't think I guess we'll approach it like calmly. There's a lot of shows that like are good, aren't good, or whatever Cartoon Network's doing and etc. But like, I definitely did not enjoy Ed, and Eddie at all.
No.
That wasn't my kind of humor. Like that wasn't my thing. I know that our parents weren't
Fond
weren't
of it.
chill with their. Well, they were pretty trying to figure out how to be parents, and so it was very like what can and can't we watch and
Exactly.
stuff like that. And
Well, real quick on the Ed, and Eddie note, like, a large majority of the people, like, I don't know anyone that ever agrees with me about,
Yeah.
well, I'm always like, well, I didn't watch Ed, and Eddie because I didn't really like it. And they're like, how could you not like it? It's hilarious. Like,
right, yeah,
excuse me. I just, like, I always, like, I don't know. I haven't really come across anyone who watched Cartoon Network and agrees with me on their thoughts on Ed, and Eddie. Like, I just feel so
Oh, yeah.
alone on that. It's so weird. Like,
mm-hmm.
how many people just liked every show that was out there, and I was like, I was really picky with my shows, I guess.
Yeah,
and
well,
that
like I
came from the parents, like our parents, like censorship a little bit.
Yeah.
But I just didn't care for the art style. I thought it was kind of gross looking.
Well, that's fair. Well, and
You
I
know?
think that's a lot of what it. It's the type of story, whether it's episode of the week, or if it's like a running plot, or if it's
Right.
things like that. You got the voice actors. You've got you've got art style.
There's a lot.
You've got
of
all these
factors.
different types of things. Yeah, and so I think the first era of Cartoon Network, the cartoons, like I didn't enjoy Cow and Chicken. I didn't enjoy what's the one with the devil? Was that Cow and Chicken?
I'm pretty
was he
sure
in
that was
Cow and
still
Chicken?
part of Cow and Chicken. Yeah.
Okay.
Even
I mean,
if it's
I
not,
liked
I know what you mean.
yeah, I liked the major staples like Powerpuff Girls, Dexter. I did like
Bravo.
Johnny Bravo, but I can pretty sure I would not enjoy it now. I mean,
I
even
I
going
like
back,
the fact that he never. The women always like beat the shit out of him. Like he's
oh
always.
yeah.
They did a good job of balancing it because he's a womanizer. He's terrible, but like
Yeah, but he's always punished for it.
he's always punished for it. He never fucking
Yeah.
wins. He's fascinating because he's the main character that never wins.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just realized that like he's always beat on like his
Yeah.
neighbor was it.
Unfortunately,
Susie or
he never
the little girl?
changes his. Yeah.
Oh, and he never
'Cause
learns.
you still
but
gotta
like,
have it. You gotta have a TV show, but
right. But that's just fascinating that he's not a character that ever like wins the situation. He always like
yeah.
yeah. He never gets his way.
Mhm. But I definitely think that even watching some Dexter's Lab and watching some Powerpuff Girls, like, I don't enjoy it as much.
Well, like watching it now, you're saying?
Watching it now, I think a lot of it definitely didn't have as strong of an impact as certain shows do now, where they I think they're trying to relate more to kids and adults.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like, this was WB, but he had the like Batman animated series, and that was that was a really heavy. It was a dark show,
Yeah.
like
It had its light moments,
Um,
but like, it definitely wasn't like super, super, super lighthearted.
right. And so like, but I think of I guess I'll pull Disney into this, but I think of like Gravity Falls and Phineas and Ferb. Like, these shows are ones that like they're funny, but they've got like, I mean, look at the 2001 Phineas and Ferb episode.
Yeah.
Like the movie 2001, where it's like very like, I think you got is it Ferb is the star child at the end of it,
Yeah. And he's just like,
or
"Happy
something like
birthday."
that, right? And it's such like a what
what
the
good
fuck,
children.
right? Yeah,
What good kids.
yeah, so I think a lot of it is like it was new.
Yeah.
It was Powerpuff Girls, Dexter. A lot of those shows, it was a new type of cartoon. I mean, look at we've
Compared
talked
to,
about
like-
DuckTales before,
Yeah.
and how important DuckTales was to animation, and how like they would pay attention to shit. Like, there's always those jokes. Like, I've seen a couple things on like Tumblr and stuff about like Scooby-Doo, where they would like hold up a sign. In one panel, the broken sign had 3 edges or 3
Yeah.
points. Next one had 2. Third one had 4. There's no continuity because animation wasn't the point of it. The
Right.
story was the point.
They're just telling
And
a
so,
simple
like-
story.
Yeah, and so late 80s into the 90s was really big on paying attention to animation.
Right.
And so I think that's where you had it. It was pretty new. And so it was drastically different than anything we watched before. Like our parents would have us watch like Looney Tunes or
Oh yeah.
you know He-Man or some of the older like Transformers, some of the older
Transformers.
80s
Yep.
cartoons. They were story rich, but it wasn't about animation. And I think that's a lot about what are the sorry, pluh, that's what the new shows are kind of about.
The
Is
actual animation.
is the emphasis on animation. Like so while doing my research, I ended up watching the first 3 episodes of OKKO and I fucking love it. But it's very this one also does have a little bit of like hairstyles are kind of different every episode. Not like different hairstyle, but like attention to details a little different.
Yeah.
But it definitely like it's very pencily. The lines have that like graphite look to them,
Yeah, I get you.
and it's a little different than the short the little pilot episode that they ran with. But it that along with a couple of the other pilots that I was watching, they're very just different animation wise. Like Steven Universe.
Right.
It's very colorful, very everything, but they can play around with what Steven's face looks like when he freaks out because he's a kid, you know?
Well, yeah, he's very animated.
Yeah, and it
No pun
reminds me a little bit, you know, what it reminds me of is Ed, Edd n Eddy a little bit. Is look at the intro, look at how drastically different all the characters' designs are.
Yeah.
Because that's the other, like Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab. You have the overgeneralizations of like Dee Dee having the really long legs, the mom's walking around on her toes, the dad being very rectangular, but like they still fit within the mold with each other. Whereas like Ed, Edd n Eddy, I mean, look, Ed would put the jawbreaker in his mouth, and it would like hyper deform his mouth because the jawbreakers were like the size of his head.
Gigantic. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like you would take that, but then you've got like I don't know, you've got a lot of these other shows now that like I'm trying to think of like a comparison offhand, but like a lot of the shows just kind of mess around with what expression looks like and what like again Steven Universe, like how Steven reacts to something and how ridiculous his face can look sometimes. I feel like Chowder did that a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a couple of the newer shows definitely have this like they're almost malleable in the way they express people. They're less rigid, less I mean, even Teen Titans Go is like that. They're not stuck within the confines of character design.
Right. They get a little more creative with it.
Yeah. And so I guess and as I've been saying that's something that like I haven't really thought too much about when it comes to like what is good animation? Is it a good story? Is it good art? Is it good like what is it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I rambled for quite a bit.
That's all right. No, that kind of falls in the I don't know if you ever watched it, but it was the Johnny Test.
Yeah.
I never watched it. I thought it was kind of meh. But it was really frowned upon because they literally could make episodes like really, really, really quickly, and it was because it was just flash animation. They like
was it?
They just it didn't like break any. You know how like Family Guy and The Simpsons they're very much like the person standing there with their arms by their side, and it's like that same shape.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that where it's like they literally would just they had like preset versions and then they would just move it around like
Oh, okay, gotcha.
move limbs around. And I mean, hey, it doesn't mean that it's a worse show, but like
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of like watching some clips of it, and I'd seen some of it, and some of it's funny, but like it definitely is just kind of like it's super generic, like bland,
Yeah.
and like, and I think that really, I don't know, like to me, that really just adds to the scores of just generic animation that's out there. And it's just
Gotcha.
frustrating when that like takes like because it got so popular, and I mean it was big on Cartoon Network because I think it was originally a Canadian show, and like
Probably.
and so because there was a bunch of those that they had picked up, like Total Drama Island and stuff like that, and then
Yeah,
that's
which is
just
still going.
similar. Is it? Oh yeah, because they do like different like seasons, different like
Yeah, they're on like season 4 of like Total Drama something else. Yeah.
yeah, they're all Total Drama and they have different like subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, they kind of like that fits in the realm too. Is like the art style doesn't like. It feels like they drew like one thing and then just kind of ran with that, and like had
Yeah.
like preset faces, preset like body shape or like movements. But like when you actually have like that, when you said like when the character is more malleable, it feels like it's a little more personal. Like they
Yeah,
drew
yeah.
every frame. Like
Yeah.
that's what it feels like, and that's why I don't like I don't like animation personally, like that where it's just flash animation. Like Family Guy is funny to an extent, and
Right.
Simpsons is funny to an extent, but like
But
it
it's
all
still,
just kind
like,
of has
it's
that
simple
same
humor.
Yeah, well, it's simple humor. It's generic. Everyone can relate to it one way or another, and
Yeah.
but the animation doesn't get much more interesting. Like that's why it's so interesting to watch like an anime film or even an American film that was clearly time was spent on, like Over the Garden Wall.
Right.
And where
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel like, even though, let's take that for example, like you can see scenes where like Over the Garden Wall where like Wirt or Greg, like they're standing there and they look really generic, but like they don't look like they do in every single scene. They look the same, but they might like, and he just might be standing there, like Wirt might be standing there with his like arms under his cloak, but like
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that like it doesn't look like he's in the exact same angle every shot, and that
Right.
like,
There's
and
some
that's-
artistic quality to it.
creativity and like time consuming, and I think that's just it falls in that realm of like you can make stuff super generic or you can like spend time on it and like and make it more unique, but it might not sell. But that again like falls like it's that weird blend of like, are you trying to sell something or are you trying to create something? Like it's such a
Right.
frustrating line to be between.
Well, and then look at that. It's you said something specifically about taking the time on it, and you know that they don't have the time to work on this shit.
Exactly.
Like, look at Jimmy Neutron. I mean, there's bits where like his hair clips. I mean, there's a really big scene that goes around a lot of times where his hair like clips straight through a locker when
Yeah.
he gets like confronted. Cause the guy was talking about it, I saw they had no time to work on it. Absolutely none. It was one of the biggest flagships for Nickelodeon, and they had like no time to work on it at all to get it done.
It doesn't surprise me, like when you look at the artwork
well.
and like,
Oh yeah.
or the because it's so like basic CG. Like
Yeah.
going back to watch it, it's just like, oh, it's so bad. But like it's just because
Yeah.
it's the time difference. It's what was
Well,
acceptable then.
like that, but also the fact that what they
To an
were
extent.
talking about was that they didn't get the time to work on
They
it
just
to
had to
make
throw
it
it
as good as
together.
it could have been. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like I said, his hair, like half his hair goes right through the locker wall behind him, and
Right.
like, and not intentionally. Like
It's just
like there's
that
some
just happens to
right. There's some tricks you can do with animation and stuff. Frozen
like
got
those
called
middle
out
frames.
a lot for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean,
But, like-
it's when you watch the movie by itself, are you gonna notice these things? Like, or is it gonna
Exactly.
be as obvious?
Yeah,
I think
but,
that's a big thing for like TV shows. Is like shortcuts. I think are necessary.
Yeah, well, especially
just-
when you don't have the time or the money to work on it.
You got yeah. Honestly, I mean, sometimes when people are limited by their limited by their opportunities and their chances and everything, you'll create something even better just because you're so limited.
Yeah,
And so like
and that makes me wonder if because all these all these shows that get greenlit by Cartoon Network, they have all these pilots and stuff, which is really cool that they like will post them on their YouTube and everything.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Like they'll air them and they'll post them, but like you gotta wonder how often they look for stuff that's easier and quicker to make.
Yeah.
No,
and
like,
it kind of makes sense. Look at Teen Titans Go is a great example of that. Like, I mean, it's the art style is interesting to an extent, but like it is very simplistic, and I feel like it can't be that difficult to make because it feels very Flash animated still.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, yeah, sometimes it does feel like they go with like they will go with like a quicker, easier to make kind of thing.
Right.
But it kind of cuts into any industry, movies, comic books,
Exactly.
novels. It's an industry.
Yeah, like there's absolutely no way you're gonna have another Batman animated series now.
No,
Like
no, definitely not.
it was drawn on black paper, like.
So
and
unique.
then beyond that, you also have the mode of creation. Everything's digitally done.
Yes.
And so, like, as opposed to hand drawn, or like, just the differences between shows now and shows then, and yeah. Ooh, that was a good start.
Well, I think this is a good spot to go on commercial break,
Yeah, sounds
and
good.
then we'll pick back up in a moment.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna change my my battery on my controller. Thank you for listening in to While We Play podcast, where we talk about random topics while we play all sorts of games. If you have a topic that you would like us to discuss, please let us know. Send your topic ideas to our Facebook page at facebook.com/whileweplaypodcast or email us at whileweplay.podcast@gmail.com. And remember to look for us on YouTube to catch the latest uploads, from live topics to video game clips. We upload videos that can't quite be captured with just a podcast. Thanks again for listening, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Ooh, look at that save.
And we're back. Oh, you saved again. Look at that.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a savior. It's okay.
Need what? One more save?
So what's that? You need one more save?
Yeah, savers to 3.
Well, right. I said you're gonna be.
Murder.
So big thing. I think that like I think about it, and I'm always like, yeah, like cartoon, era is the best, blah blah blah. But like, there are some scenes where I've seen, like in Gumball, Amazing World of Gumball, like it's fascinating the way they bring different art styles together. Like they do claymation and like hand drawn and like 3D like all together. Like it's just really cool. There's a couple other things that have done that before, but they do a pretty good job of it. But there was an episode that really stuck out to me that I've only seen a couple, but it was the one where there was the one guy that did like every job. And he was like a mechanic, and he was a judge, and he was a police officer, and he did everything in this town, and they didn't not everybody realized it. And I think something about him, like someone yelled at it. I think it was like the mom character yelled at him, and like he ended up quitting, and then like he quit everything, and then the whole world, like their whole world goes into like a post-apocalyptic world because there's no one doing anything, and like there's no public servants like at all, and there's no people like. I just totally fucked that one up. Sorry, I just got like really focused on what I was doing. And so there was nobody doing anything. So the damn thing turned into Mad Max. Like there was a point where 2 of the characters were dressed up like Master Blaster from Thunderdome.
Yeah.
And like hardcore like Mad Max references like left and right. And like there was like other apocalyptic references, and like that's a great example of like the kids aren't going to notice that. They're not going to know. Like, so,
No.
But the parent watching it is probably going to laugh at it, hopefully, because they might get the reference. And so, like, that
What?
really stood out to me, I think, is like quality, because it's not just like a bunch of BS. Like, they actually put time and effort into it and like made references, and like it was actually a really funny episode, and like it was clever the way they like put things together. And so it's just like, that is a good reminder that like I think like because at first I wasn't sure of Gumball. Like it really threw me off. Like it's like what is this kind of? It's kind of weird, but then it's got some good episodes. And like Adventure Time, same kind of thing. Like I always thought it was kind of weird, but then it's got like actually an amazing story to it and like character development like crazy, and like it's impressive. And so like it's really cool. Like this considered like a second renaissance. Like they're bringing it back. Like it's really cool. Like we said, we like We Bare Bears. Like it's such a funny like that new generation of humor a little bit. And
Yeah. Well, I think
then-
it's. Go ahead.
go ahead. I was just gonna say
It's kind of like
compared to the old stuff.
yeah. Well, I think that the new stuff, the old stuff, like we mentioned, I think I mentioned in the first half, was the idea that like it was it was new, so you had to kind of lead off with some really impressive stuff story wise. So you had a lot of like you had Powerpuff Girls, which is based on the everyday life essentially of these like however old they are super proud girls. You
Aren't
had
they in, like,
Dexter's
preschool?
Lab.
Or kindergarten? I
Yeah.
think they're in kindergarten.
Yeah. You had Dexter's Lab, which was very kid based. You
Yeah,
had
that's true.
you had
Johnny Bravo, whose age is still unknown.
he's probably like in his 20s, and then you've
Yeah,
got but
yeah,
like if you look at
definitely.
all these shows, the early shows, they were kids written by adults.
Yes.
And you could tell that. Even look at I think actually the middle period, the second period, because we're kind of in the fourth. You had the person, I think her name was Betty Cohen, that created
the
Cartoon Network.
Cohen era.
Yeah, it was Dexter's cartoon era. Then you
Yeah,
had
exactly.
Staples, which was like considered the best overall, which is going to be your Grim Adventures,
Like Foster's
and
Home.
Foster's Home, that era.
That yeah.
And then you have the live action era, and then what we're at now. And I think a thing is that like it was weird. You had kids watching cartoons that were written by adults that were about kids. So like look at the way the Powerpuff Girls act, look at the way Dexter acts, look at the way all these kids act. They're very adult like.
Right.
And then it almost culminates in Grim Adventures, where Mandy is like the ultimate cynical, nothing matters, everything's, and you have Billy, who's so a child that they almost wrote him as being like
An animal
That's a good way to put
companion.
kind of, or
Like
like
an idiotic animal companion.
yeah, like they just did not write him in. He was the Disney sidekick, where like
Yeah,
things
the
are
bumbling
so.
idiot.
Yeah, and
Like
so
excessively
like
so.
right, and so that kind of culminated then. But look at the new stuff. Look at the way Steven acts in Steven Universe. Look at the way that KO acts in OKKO. You've got you've got Chowder. You've got the kids in Gumball. You've got not only are they because they'd be about our age, a little older, the people who are writing them.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, look at Alex Hirsch doing Gravity Falls. But
Exactly.
but also, so they're writing them as kids, not adults writing kids.
Yep.
And then
They-
also,
They definitely do feel more like a nice blend of mature and immature.
yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's kind of hard to watch it sometimes. It's because I'm not a child, you know?
Yeah.
Look at
You don't
Teen
relate to
Titans
it
Go
as
is
much.
almost, yeah, Teen Titans Go is almost as if they're like young teen, you know? If
Yeah.
not like, you know, as instead of being like
like middle school rather than high school.
kind of thing, yeah. And I think that's where you've got roommate's getting home. Hello.
Hi.
We're recording. You're good. We can edit out. Or not. Welcome home. Where was I? Kids. But you also, on top of the fact that they are written as if they're kids now,
Yeah.
a lot of the humor is way more existentially absurd is kind of a way to put it. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of humor I see are about like kids, or like our joking is like, oh damn, like we're not appreciated and like we were promised that we'd have like jobs and things in the future, whereas kids nowadays are just like nothing matters, nothing's real.
They're so like
and
detached.
and I think that comes through in Gumball real hard.
Yeah, it
You were
does.
talking about the Mad Max episode, and like
It really does.
it really does. You just have this like it's either on one end it's okay and okay go, trying to get everybody to be friends, trying to be a great hero, trying to be a sincere person, or you've got the kids from Gumball that are just like nothing's matters, nothing
end of the world.
matters at all. Yet
Yeah.
excessively overblown because why not? Because you can, and like it's drastically more. That was a weird goal.
That was a weird goal.
It's such a drastic cultural mental understanding of the world, whereas
Yeah.
like early Cartoon Network was, we got bad guys to save, we got
Well,
everybody
I mean,
had a purpose.
yeah, cause like look at compare. All right, we got Dexter, Powerpuff Girls. Johnny Bravo was a little unique, but like
Yeah, but his
Um,
purpose was still, he knew what he was up to. Like
Yeah.
he knew himself.
Ed and Eddie, like you've got some pretty clear like. There's no one that's just kind of there. There's always like, all right, we're
Yeah.
the cool guys, or we're the kids, we're the cool kids, or we've got to fight bad guys, or there's always a villain, there's always an enemy, there's always like the
Yeah.
antagonist, like it. But with newer like shows, they definitely get away from the stereotypical setup and just go
Yeah.
into like neutral areas. Like look at Adventure Time. The ice, was it the Ice King, or
I think it's the Ice King, yeah.
like the way he's a bad guy but he's kind of not. Like
Yeah.
his past is like really like kind of heartbreaking. And so
It
like
is, yeah.
they get more into that. Like they're not just like this is good and this is evil, or root for the good guy, or within reason. With the
There's
with the
no
new ones,
questioning.
you've got it was just kind of like, all right, here it is. But with the new ones, it's a lot more dense. Like not like not crazy, like comparatively it's a lot more dense. It's just I think they start touch on more complex like character styles.
Yeah, well, like the enemy is real life,
Yeah, that's kind of
and that's
the
really what it
basic.
comes down to. Yeah, it's not. We don't have I am this way and I must stop this, or this is this
Yeah.
way and we must save the world. I mean, look at Teen Titans Go. That's even like, and or DC as a whole, because
Yeah.
DC does have this kind of existential crisis right now about like what it's about or how it fits in society now. Whereas like Marvel, especially Black Panther, is so on top of where it sits.
It
And
knows
so
where it's
like
at.
yeah, and so like the entire purpose of Teen Titans Go is a superhero spoof licensed by the people who make the original. And so
Yeah.
like
Which is really
you
fucking
have
random.
this
Ooh, that was a fucking
you have
awesome
this
save.
yeah, I was gonna say, did you save that? Did I save that? And yeah, and so you've got this sense of like, again, I think we were talking before we started recording about like, I'd honestly probably like Teen Titans Go a lot more if they had just finished the first series. If they had just finished Teen Titans.
Yeah, it's kind of like making
And-
it's like the whole too soon joke. Like
Kinda, yeah.
I feel like it's like making fun of like Hitler, like in like or it'd be like what if Nazi Germany did win? Like that, how there's that like that new series, I think it's on Amazon. Like what if,
Man in
like,
the High Castle.
yeah, it'd be like if that
Yeah.
came out in like the 40s. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think that would have gone over too well. Just because
Yeah.
it's like
or I mean, look at now. Man in the High Castle's, I think it's doing well, but they're trying to make that show Confederate, which is what if the Civil War, like what if the South won? And it's like,
Whoa.
guys, Oh yeah, no, it's the guys. I think it's the guys that are doing. Last time I knew it was the guys doing Game of Thrones, but it was like, no, we those. I don't want to say those problems haven't gone away because I mean we're still
problems are
clearly
still
having
pretty.
issues with. Well, we're still having issues with Nazis, but like,
Well, yeah.
it's just one of those things where it's like, this can only be handled in an excessively delicate manner. And I guess we are talking about cartoons, so it's a little bit lighter.
We are going like hardcore. Like this is how
Yeah,
dedicated.
I don't know how we got on
but
this
like
turn.
that's
Yeah.
how I think that's kind of how we see it. That's how it relates to us. It's like
Yeah.
you give us a show that's serious. I mean, it's got its goofy moments, but it's serious. There's a lot to it. It's pretty intense. Like it got pretty crazy with Tara and all that, and like, but then
Yeah.
you don't finish it. You cancel it before it's done. And then a couple years later, you're like, we're going to come out with a new one. Oh, okay, but it's a giant spoof of everything you know. And it's like, thanks? Like, I thought we're not done yet. Like,
Yeah.
and the fact that everyone still does the same voices, even more so kind of like nail in the coffin kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, like we said, I think we had mentioned it, was like, the kids watching it who had not seen the original or they didn't know about the original, whatever, they probably find it hilarious, which is great.
Right.
But to those who did watch it, and clearly the people who made it are aware of it,
Right, because they
it's
make
just
fun
kind
of it in the
insulting.
show.
Like
It is
a little
yeah.
bit, but you can only complain so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Again,
crazy
I
that
don't.
what
I don't.
your statistic on how much airtime it gets.
60% of programming time right now.
Oh
Yeah.
boy, that was a very explosive sneeze.
Nice.
Oh god, I'm dying.
Again, I do want to really highly iterate that us being upset about a cartoon is nowhere near comparable to.
No, I think we made our point. It's
know,
not the same as
yeah.
racial and social issues.
Well, yeah.
Like definitely
um,
not. It's nowhere
no.
near the same aspect. It's a fascinating analogy in a very very sensitive way.
Yeah, no. I want to take a minute or two to endeavor to find a better analogy real quick. It's like
Well-
when somebody promises you a gift for your birthday and then they get you a different thing. Is that a little closer?
Yeah, that's a little more.
Okay.
innocent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
no,
I said,
I want to. Yeah.
we clearly know that is not the same. It does not carry the same weight at all.
No, it's
Teen
not a
Titans and
comparable
Teen
thing.
Titans Go has no.
No.
doesn't have that much.
It's a
weight
birthday
and
present.
Impact.
It's a birthday present.
It's not getting a birthday present
That's
when
the
you were
comparison.
promised one. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a very legitimate comparison
Yeah.
on how much it
Um,
really impacts us.
Exactly.
That's. But that was just my analogy. I'm
right.
sticking
Yeah.
to it.
As it goes, I think it's really just. I think the worst thing that happened with Cartoon Network was that all the first initial shows got associated with Cartoon Network. Like I
Like,
think
that
when it
was their
really comes
staple?
down to it, that was their staple. That's what they were. And so
Yeah.
then everybody assumed everything afterwards was going to be the same quality, if not the same exact shows. And it's just a TV channel. It's a broadcasting station.
It really
You know?
is. It doesn't have to
It's
have.
like if saying, yeah, it's like if saying like, well, and it kind of happens with animation.
specific.
if-
Well, yeah, because it's easier to spot. I would say.
Well, look at the wars between wars. Jesus, look at the
Competition?
the competition between Disney, DreamWorks,
Pixar. Wow, Disney.
the Pixar. Well, yeah, but like all the animation studios. Look at Don Bluth stuff, Secret of
Yeah.
Nim, and American Tail.
Right.
Look at the competitions between all that stuff and how people will be like, well, what's Shrek?
DreamWorks.
No,
What?
was it?
Yeah.
It was 20th Century Animation was something I was thinking of. Anastasia and
Oh yeah, like
Titan AE.
yes.
But it
weird
happens all the
middle.
time with animation. Think about it. If it was the same way with, it's like going like Paramount doesn't make movies like this, or
Yeah.
like,
Well, no,
MGM doesn't make movies like this,
yeah, no,
and so it's
exactly.
really weird.
It's well, yeah, because like I can't think when I think Paramount, I immediately think Star Trek, but
Exactly.
like it'd be like watching Star Trek and then like watching another thing from Paramount that's maybe like a slice of life and going, this isn't like Star Trek. Like
Exactly.
that's a really legitimate, I think, analogy, because
Yeah.
it's the company. They just all they do is just host the show, if you will. They're
Exactly.
not-
Yeah, like they'll do programming and they'll do like I wish they would vary it up. They have a lot of shows that are under their thing. I don't know if their licensing got revoked on some or like if they don't have them anymore, but like you shouldn't have one show taking up 60% of your airtime. Like that's
Exactly.
weird. But also it's cartoons. Like this is from like what, 6 in the morning to 7 at night? How much of that time is spent up by kids being in school?
Yeah. No,
And
I know.
so it's like it's
the more
it's
important
hard
parts
to,
of the day are like 6 to 8 a.m. and 3 to 7 p.m.
Exactly. And like realistically, I haven't watched Cartoon Network on TV in like 13 years. Like so I think it is just one of those things like Adult Swim kind of doesn't count cuz
Yeah, it does. It's Cartoon Network.
it's Cartoon Network, but I was actually looking at stuff. They are considered separate things for rating purposes.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And they are considered different things because of content quality due to
Still
something
owned by
else.
the same people.
They are.
And it's
So that's the
not
thing.
the same channel.
It's weird, but like
No, that is weird.
yeah. So I meant like watching Samurai Jack or like the new
Right.
one
Oh, the
or
new one.
like some
Yeah.
other stuff. But like it's definitely one of those things where it's like why. I think it is just because of their original air thing, cartoons. Everything was together. Everything was, all the cartoons was from that show. You had Cartoon Fridays, and you had like they branded it so heavily together.
Yeah. Like all of these shows need to be like viewed as like one group.
Like one family of cartoons, and they moved away from that. They
did.
were like,
They
hey,
definitely
let's
did.
let's honestly let's reboot the same thing 10 times. Ben
There's
10,
a really
yay.
good. Well, beta, pretty much. No, I was just gonna say they would do that a lot, like 2000, like the second segment, like what 2001, like 2002 to actually technically 2001 to like 2006. They did a lot
2001 to
of stuff.
7.
Which is
Yeah,
7.
that's when
they did
that's
a
when
lot of
Samples
stuff
was in.
where it was like the grouping, the characters would be in the same world. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you
You'd
remember
have
it,
the
but
bumps that were together.
there was what?
The bumps that were together. You had like Johnny Bravo and Samurai Jack doing laundry at the same time.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, like Dexter would be like pushing a shopping cart to like going to a car, and like Professor,
Yeah.
like the professor from Powerpuff Girls was there, like, and there he was like making fun of him, and they're all laughing, and like Ed from one of the Eds is there, and like they're all in the same city, like they're branded
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
and so like that's probably once they got away from that, it was like I think the tone shift definitely.
Yeah. And I think it just people haven't gotten
But
used to it. They tried to do live action and
Yeah, it was a weird
I think
transition time, to be honest with
it
you.
was.
Like Toonami ended, and like,
yeah.
but like when they brought it back, and then there's this new. It's a new Cartoon Network. That's not the same as the
Yep.
old Cartoon Network, and I
Yeah.
think not everybody's.
I
Used
mean,
to
I think
that.
their current segment on Fridays is just new. Like it's new repeated 4 times. I think.
There you go.
And so like
just new
it's
shows.
just
Like it doesn't mean it's like.
it's
But I do miss the old Cartoon Network for nostalgia factors, and that's pretty much it. Just because
Yeah.
it was a cool and fun time. You'd have Toonami later on. Like I remember
Mm-hmm.
coming home from school, going like, "Oh shit, it's Friday! Like we got Cartoon Fridays coming on." And then
Yeah.
like Saturday, what was it? Was Toonami on Saturdays?
Toonami used to be Monday through Friday until it got
just
deemed
after.
too violent, and then it
Yeah.
was It was like 4 to 6, and then they moved it to Saturdays.
Yeah, because I remember it
They had their
dominantly from
midnight run.
Saturdays. So like,
Yeah.
because I remember like I said, Cartoon Fridays, and then it was like Saturday. Oh, it's it's almost time for Toonami. Like we gotta watch it. Yeah, and then the midnight run would come on. But it's just like that. Definitely, like, it was really cool, and it's quite the nostalgia factor. But that doesn't make the new shows any less important.
Exactly. And I think
that's
it's
what
just
I think
Yeah.
people forget about.
yeah, they're cartoons. They're like I kind
It's
of
not a
want to
cartoon
give Teen
family anymore.
Yeah, I kind of want to give Teen Titans Go a chance just because
No, I mean there are some funny things in it. It's just
There's-
there's just that
there's
wound that's just not,
209
hasn't healed yet.
episodes.
That's
yeah,
a lot of episodes.
there's 4 seasons. I think they're on their 5th season. But like it's one of those things where it's like, you know what?
But
Well,
just,
it's kind of like what
maybe
we
it's
said
just
about
time to grow up.
adaptations. Kind of, I think.
And just-
It's like what we said about adaptations. Just if it's for you, watch it. If it's not for you, then it's not
Then just
for you.
move on.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it really just kind of is like it is what it is. I feel like there's probably a lot of shit in Gumball that's funny.
Yeah.
I started just researching and I ended up just getting sucked into OK Go or OK. I keep saying OK Go. OK KO.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
No,
because
and that's like I said.
it's
I was
real
watching
funny.
the history of Cartoon Network, and like after watching it, I was very much like, I wonder what these new shows are like. And so
Yeah.
I think it is time for our generation, those who haven't moved on, to move
Yeah.
on and check out these new ones.
Yeah.
At some point,
Like-
or don't, but don't
Or don't.
complain about how it's not the same anymore.
Right.
Because it's
Go
like
watch
that's
Boomerang.
just how generations work.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty much just an old man saying, "Get off my lawn." Like,
yeah.
it's just
Yeah. It's the whole.
when I was your age, kind of thing.
Yeah. Don't become your parent. Like
Yeah.
don't be the parent saying, "Oh, this was better when it was my age," because
Exactly. Because that's
one,
I mean, and that's
it probably wasn't.
right. It was just to you. You were the target audience at the time, and it was a certain way. And then by the time new target audience age groups come out, or new generations move on, then it will be different. But
Yeah.
I
Plus,
mean,
absurd humor is just hilarious. When nothing matters, and it's real.
no,
funny.
it's fantastic. No, yeah, I would like to give some new shows a chance and
Yeah.
see where Cartoon Network goes from here.
Yeah, like I said, watch some of the shorts. I really liked if you do want to like look up some stuff. These aren't ones that are getting like greenlit. They're just ones that Cartoon Network like promoted or like gave like a little pilot. They aired them and then they put them on YouTube. Infinity Train is one that I watched, and it was a cliffhanger. So I'm like roll ready for more.
Yeah.
What's the other one? 12. Shoot. What was it? I think I've still got them up. It's like 12 Forever, I think is one of them. That one was pretty cool. It's a little more traditional style animation. Like flatter,
2D.
interesting proportions. Yeah, kind of more 2D, weird, like long limbs. I don't know, it's kind of funny. And then what was the other? Oh, Craig in the Creek was a short.
Yes, you did
was
mention
a
that
short.
one to me.
Yeah, it was a short, and it is getting greenlit for a series. And it's funny because it's really adorable and it's really weird, and the kids they're just kids, like inner monologues and loving on staff that your grandpa made you and getting made fun of by your older brother. Like it's just, I don't know, it's being a kid, and so it's yeah, check them out.
I don't know if you've
Okay.
ever seen Bee and Puppy Cat.
Oh, I fucking love being Puppy Cat.
Yeah, that's
It's
one
so
I really
good.
wish was a show.
Well, that one is correct on Bravest Warriors.
Oh, is it? I thought it was just a couple YouTube episodes, pilot situation, and then
It
I never saw it
was, but
continue.
there is this thing called Bravest Warriors. I'll have to look
is
into
it
it a
on, like,
little more.
YouTube? Or is it
It's
on, like-
its own separate thing now. I think it's the guy that runs or that created Pemberton or whatever that created Adventure Time.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's his thing. There's a couple
cool.
different things. I think Bee and Puppy Cat have at least a like a season
segment.
or a series or something.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, and
That's really cool.
There's some pretty cool stuff on there too. So.
No, yeah, I would like to see what Cartoon Network, how that continues, and I would like to see more stuff like Over the Garden Wall. I mean, doesn't have to be the
Oh,
same.
yeah.
Doesn't have to be the same like era or anything like that. I just mean purely the quality, the content quality. It was just so up there for me, and you could tell they spent a lot of time on it. So I would just like to see more stuff
Oh,
like that.
definitely.
But I mean, you never know. Well, you never know what might come out in the next 10 years.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Bee and Puppy Cat has 10 episodes.
Oh, no shit. Well, look at that. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
check that out.
Cartoon Hangover. Sorry.
Cartoon-
Bravest
oh,
Warriors
yes.
is a show. Yeah,
I've
Bravest
heard of
Warriors
it.
is a show. Cartoon Hangover is the I think it's like an online iteration of Cartoon Network, not owned by them, but like it's kind of like it is just that new everything's kind of centralized, everything's a family type of
Yep.
everything is built together and stuff. So, yeah. No, basically just cartoons are for enjoying.
I mean, yeah.
And,
I think
like-
that's... People need to remember that. I need to remember that.
Yeah. Me too. Like, it's the whole, like I said, it's the whole, if you like it, then you like it. And if you don't,
Then kill
then
yourself.
it's
I mean,
fine. Now, if it's the whole, like, if there's,
Joking.
oh, Jesus. If there's legit problems with it, then you
Well,
can
then you
talk
can
about
critique it. Like, but that's the thing. It's a critique. It's not a... This show
Don't
must
just shit
end
on it.
because of this, Yeah, don't shit on it.
Don't shit on it. Don't send hate mail or
Yeah,
threats
like,
and
what?
shit to the current Cartoon Network president, because she gets a shit ton of garbage, I think. And it's like,
I'm
look,
not surprised. People are idiots.
whatever. Yeah, it's a good way to sum it up. People are idiots. But
It's like
also,
my motto the other
animators
day.
try real fucking hard. What?
What did you say?
I said also animators try real fucking hard and
Yes, they do.
Give
And
their
give
stuff
them
a
credit
chance.
for it.
yeah, give them a chance, give them credit.
Take a chance,
And- Yeah.
All right, well, I think that does it for this wonderful week of While We Play.
Yeah. I am Joe.
And I'm Josh.
this is always and forever have been Joe. I don't
What?
know. I'm tired.
And, yeah.
Yeah, we got stuff on. We got a YouTube channel. It would actually be really important for me to remember what the URLs are.
Yeah, I have to
So,
remember that too.
Let me hold on. Whoop! I don't have that link there. All right. Well, we're under While We Play. As I awkwardly wait for Google Sensei to load. Oh wow, this is bad. I'm also trying to play video game at the same time.
And that's why we call it While We Play.
I bet you that sounded great on the recording. Oh man.
What
Okay,
what
I know
sounded
I'm
great?
subscribed to it. Oh god damn. Oh sorry, my subscriptions haven't finished loading yet.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's going to be some heavy editing at this point.
There's no such thing as heavy editing. What is that?
I'm sorry, that was loud.
None. I know I'm gonna be kicked for being idle. Calm down. Oh my
Need
God.
boost.
There it is. Okay, cool. Okay. Was there not like a solid? Yeah, it's just that While We Play, there's no real. We haven't made like a channel thing. I don't know if even YouTube does that.
Well, like youtube.com/While We Play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's stupid.
Sorry, I'm trying to score. Okay, so the YouTube's out. We have a Facebook group. Either that was a really awkward long, like 20 seconds, or a nice solid edit. We have a YouTube.
What are you
nope,
talking
we
about?
don't have we do have a YouTube, but that's not what I was gonna say. We have a Facebook. Bless you. This is just a nightmare.
I'm
have-
dying.
We have a Facebook at facebook.com/While We Play Podcast, which is nice. Come over and check it out. See, now you're laughing and I can't stop laughing.
I totally.
Um,
For some reason, I thought you said we have a Facebook at YouTube. I totally thought that's what you said. But you said it right. I'm just imagining things.
Yeah, our Facebook is facebook.com/whileweplaypodcast. We
And
are
we'll
at
discuss
While We
stuff.
Play. Yes. It's a good place to go to talk about shit or the things we talk about. We also have a
While
Twitter
we play.
at While We Play. I have no idea how we got that, but we did. We did. And then, yeah, that's where you can find us. We'll probably have some other stuff, but yay.
Woo.
Again, I have been Joe.
And I am still currently Josh.
Cool. Thank you for listening to While We Play. And I'm definitely going to hit stop now.